Have you ever felt like the world was against you? Like no matter how hard you tried, the walls just kept closing in? If you've ever felt that way, I want you to listen closely. Today, I'm going to tell you a story about a little boy named Leo, a story that might just change the way you see your own struggles. Leo lived in a small, weathered shack on the edge of a town that had long forgotten its own name. His world wasn't filled with colorful toys or the latest gadgets. It was painted in shades of gray and brown. His family was poor, not just can't afford a new phone, poor, but not sure where the next meal is coming from, poor. Every morning, Leo would watch the other children, dressed in clean uniforms, skip their way to the big brick schoolhouse. He longed to join them, to sit at a desk and fill his mind with the wonders of books, but school was a luxury his family couldn't afford. Instead of a backpack, Leo carried a worn-out sack. He'd spend his days scavenging through the town's refuse, searching for scraps of metal, plastic bottles, anything he could sell for a few coins. It was a dirty, thankless job. His hands were always calloused, his clothes perpetually stained. Some people would look at him with pity, others with disdain. He often heard whispers, "Look at that poor, dirty boy." Each word was a tiny pebble thrown at his heart. There were days when the hunger was a gnawing beast in his stomach, and the exhaustion made his small legs tremble. He'd sit by the river, watching the water flow, and wonder if this was all his life would ever be. It would have been so easy to give up, to let the current of despair pull him under. He saw it happen to others. He saw the light in their eyes dim and fade away, replaced by a hollow emptiness. But something inside Leo refused to be extinguished. A tiny, stubborn spark. One afternoon, while digging through a pile of discarded books behind the library, he found it. It was an old, tattered book about astronomy. The cover was torn and some pages were missing. But as Leo traced the drawings of stars and planets, something magical happened. For the first time, he saw a universe beyond his small, bleak town. He saw worlds of incredible beauty and infinite possibility. He didn't understand all the big words, but he understood the feeling they gave him. Hope. He took the book home, and it became his most prized possession. Every night, by the dim light of a single candle, he would try to decipher the text. He started collecting more discarded books, anything he could find. He taught himself to read, letter by letter, word by word. It was slow, painstaking work. There were moments of intense frustration, times when he wanted to hurl the books into the fire. But then he'd look up at the night sky, see the same stars from his book, and that spark inside him would glow brighter. He wasn't just a poor boy scavenging for scraps anymore. He was an explorer, charting his own course through a universe of knowledge. He started using his meager earnings not just for food, but to buy a pencil and a notebook. He practiced writing the letters, copying sentences from his books. He'd ask questions to anyone who would listen, the kind baker, the old watchman. Most ignored him, but a few, seeing the genuine hunger for knowledge in his eyes, offered small bits of information. Each answer was a treasure, another piece of the puzzle he was so desperately trying to solve. One day, the town's elderly schoolteacher, Mr. Harrison, was walking home when he saw Leo under a streetlight, furiously scribbling in his notebook, his brow furrowed in concentration. Intrigued, he approached the boy. He expected to see meaningless scribbles, but instead, he saw crude but legible sentences, questions about physics, and drawings of constellations. Mr. Harrison was astounded. He had seen passion in his classroom before, but this was different. This was a fire forged in adversity. He began to mentor Leo, giving him old textbooks and spending an hour with him each evening after school. For Leo, it was like a dam had broken. The trickle of knowledge he had painstakingly gathered became a flood. He absorbed everything, math, history, science, with a ravenous appetite. He learned that the world wasn't just what was in front of him. It was a vast, complex, and beautiful place, and he had a right to understand it. Years passed. The small boy with calloused hands grew into a young man with a sharp mind. Through Mr. Harrison's help and his own relentless effort, he earned a scholarship to a university in the city. The day he left, the entire town, the same people who once looked at him with pity, came to see him off. They saw him not as the poor boy anymore, but as their boy, their symbol of what was possible. Life at the university wasn't easy. He was surrounded by students who came from privileged backgrounds who had never known a day of hunger. He felt like an outsider all over again. The old whispers of doubt returned. You don't belong here. You're not smart enough. But every time he felt that doubt creeping in, he would remember the little boy under the streetlight. He would remember the feeling of discovering that first tattered book. He would remember that stubborn spark. He didn't just study, he devoured his studies. He stayed later in the library than anyone else. He asked more questions than anyone else. He worked harder than anyone else because he knew what it was like to have nothing. He knew the value of this opportunity, an opportunity he had literally built from scraps. Leo went on to become a renowned astrophysicist. He stood on stages in front of hundreds, sharing his knowledge of the universe. He wrote books, clean, new books that would inspire other children. But he never forgot where he came from. He never forgot the boy who found hope in a discarded book. He eventually returned to his hometown and built a new school, a library, and a community center, ensuring that no child would ever have to scavenge for knowledge the way he did. He made sure every child had the chance to find their own spark. So, why am I telling you Leo's story? Because Leo is in all of us. We all have that small, stubborn spark inside, that refusal to be extinguished. Your struggles might not be the same as his. Maybe you're facing a tough project, a personal setback, or a dream that feels impossibly far away. The world might be telling you that you're not good enough, not smart enough, not worthy. When you hear those whispers, I want you to remember Leo. Remember that your circumstances do not define your potential. Your past does not dictate your future. The struggles you face today are not walls. They are stepping stones. They are the very things that build your strength, your resilience, your character. Every time you choose to get up after being knocked down, every time you choose to learn from a failure, every time you choose to keep going when it would be easier to stop, you are fanning that spark into a flame. Don't let the world dim your light. Don't let the whispers of doubt become your inner voice. Find your tattered book. Find that one thing that gives you hope, that reminds you of the infinite possibilities that lie beyond your current situation. Nurture it. Protect it. Let it guide you through the darkness. Never, ever give up. Your journey is your own, and the most incredible destinations are often found at the end of the most difficult roads. You have a universe of potential inside you, waiting to be discovered. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content to help you on your journey. And remember, keep that spark alive. We'll see you in the next video.